Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video. Hope you guys are doing well today. And I'm just giving you an overview of how my first week in BFA has gone. Yeah, I'm going to go through all of my gear and basically just a bit of everything. So, go through my DK first, which is kind of my off-role, off-class for this expansion. At the moment anyway, going to be playing Blood / Unholy. Unholy isn't simming too well, but it is definitely the more fun spec than Frost. And it does share a very similar stat priority and obviously the weapon with Blood, so it's pretty easy to off-spec. So let's just go through my gear first. We have the AZ3R1T3 optic goggles. They are the engineering plate goggles. Just to go through, obviously my Heart of Azeroth is low, we'll get to that in a second, but just to go through and look at some of the traits. Engineering is the only profession that has its own Azerite piece and therefore has its own traits. And they're pretty damn cool. Obviously, the Blood Synaptic Spark Capacitor is probably the best trait in the game you can get. A flat 5% reduction as soon as this procs to every single mob within 8 yards, which is amazing. Obviously, does a lot of damage with it and all that good stuff. You then compare something like just any other, really. The Ricocheting Inflatable Pyrosaur is a very high DPS increase, if not one of the best DPS increases, maybe equal to Barrage of Many Bombs, but it's pretty much pure damage rather than any defensive capabilities. The Gizmo is a little bit of both, gives you primary stat and max health. Max health doesn't really do much for you because it doesn't actually help you in any way. However, growing the world, all of that haste and that move speed would be amazing, but again, you only get it like 50% of the time. And then you have Barrage of Many Bombs, which is kind of amazing for big pulls and things like that. It does a lot of damage. So consistently, I want these two. Synaptic Spark Capacitor actually does well single target as well, so I think I'm pretty much going to stick with that one, just because it's so good for Blood. And obviously the inner traits, I believe, are fairly similar to other traits. I'm going to be going Ablative Shielding and Personal Absorbatron. We then get into my Heart of Azeroth. I only dinged this a couple of days ago and I actually had to go away this weekend for a bit of a family emergency, unfortunately. So my Heart of Azeroth is pretty low. I did manage to get it to Friendly, which means I did get the 15 eye level increase. So 319, 13 traits, or 13 level, I guess. We're getting close to the next one. Hopefully going to get it tomorrow with the reset. So yeah, again, it's quite low. My other one is a little bit better. Shoulders, 310 shoulders, I cannot get better. The traits on this is also terrible. I want rid of these shoulders, but cannot get any better ones to drop. And then go through my cloak, 345 cloak, Mythic Warforged, pretty nice cloak. Gives crit mastery, which is not ideal for either Unholy or Blood, so kind of off stats. Then go on to Shield Breach Breastplate. Now this trait is pretty good for me. It's not my best one, but it's not my worst. And then Festamite is actually one of my best, if not my best, Unholy trait. I've actually had this chest piece a couple of times now, so I have one of each, one for tanking, one for DPS, and they both give me decent traits, but obviously you do want higher eye level as of next week. My bracers, just flat, mythic, crit versatility. Versatility is nice, crit again, don't really want it. 325 gloves, crit versatility, again, can't really get right stats on this character. Crit haste, now haste, pretty nice, but the crit being the main stat is still a bit of a disadvantage. Do have a socket, which is quite nice on this, does kind of recover, and obviously I've put my engineering shield on there as well for an extra 24k shield. It is a 10-minute cooldown, but when things get really, really bad, you just need that extra second to survive. This is really going to make it, like, it really puts in work. And again, we go to my Mythic Warforged with Avoidance leg plates, which, again, they're amazing, but crit versatility. Versatility being the better stat this time, so they're not the worst legs in the world. I can kind of get over them. And then we get into Versatility Mastery. I would say, I believe my stat priority at the moment is Haste Mastery Versatility for healing and like throughput and actually keeping myself alive. And just for actual taking the least damage is Haste Versatility Mastery. So Versatility Mastery, my second and third stats, isn't that bad. We then go into my ring, crit and a lot of haste. Now this one is obviously a lot of haste. Don't really care what the off stat is just because it gives me so much haste, which is really nice. We then get into Lord Waycrest Signet, and again we go to more crit and some versatility. Don't really care for the two set, it just dropped and obviously was an eye level increase, but again, crit versatility, got to get rid of that this week on my DK. Bought myself a Dark Moon Deca Blockades before the buff. It was about 80k in fact, I think I paid 75k. It was 100k on the auction house, and I offered 75, and they took it. And obviously, it has been buffed in the last couple of days. Anybody could have seen this getting buffed. It was so obvious that it was going to happen. So yeah, it's not too big of a drama. We knew it was going to get changed. It just was so weak. And now it's actually a really strong trinket. So happy about that. And yeah. Our next trinket, Razdunk's Big Red Button. This was actually my first mythic item. Mythic Titan Forge with speed. Pretty crap proc, although it does help you get threat. If you're ever in a situation where you haven't got Blood Boil charges or haven't got a Death of Decay, this will get you a lot of threat. So having it is not the worst thing in the world. Obviously, I do want actually a tanking trinket would be nice, but there isn't too many of them in this tier. So we'll take what we can get. The speed, the strength is both really helpful as well. And finally, my axe. So I had the 335 Honor Bound one. I wasn't high enough level at the time to actually get the 340, so I got the 335 Honor Bound, which I think I've got rid of now. And in my first mythic after that, I got this one, 340, Versatility Mastery, second and third stats. I believe the Honor Bound was Crit and Haste, so it's like my best and worst stat. So I went with the middle one with the higher eye level. We're using Stone Skin Gargoyle at the moment rather than Fallen Crusader. Fallen Crusader is overall the better enchant, but for me, I wanted a little bit more tankiness. I felt myself a little bit too spiky, and again, don't have very much mastery and I don't have very much haste, so I'm really struggling a little bit to keep my runes up. If I had the right runes, I would definitely be using Fallen Crusader. But yeah, we look at my reputation quickly. Again, only just hit Champions of Azeroth friendly. Taljani's Expedition is honoured. Honor Bound is not even honoured yet. 200 rep away. Tortolian Seekers is friendly. Voldurni is honoured. And Zandalari is neutral because I didn't actually hit that zone while leveling. And again, yeah, so we're in a pretty good spot. Obviously, do have my pretty cool transmog with my Parrot mount from Freehold Mythic. Pretty awesome. Really glad I got it. It's such a cool mount, and I never get lucky with mounts like this, so I'm kind of happy about it, honestly. I am. So let's log over. We're going to look at the Monk, and this is obviously my main, so a little bit better off with reputations and stuff, but you do have to remember I've missed like 2 full days of World Quests, which has put me a little bit behind. Again, kind of going with the same sort of theme with transmogs, the sort of pirate setup. Just because, how often do you get a pirate mount, right? So going through my gear on this one then, let's actually make sure we're in our proper eye level gear. So I'm going to put this on and just show you. So I'm 338 with my best items equipped, with my actual items equipped. We'll talk about why I'm not using that in a second, but in my headpiece we have Cowl of Fluid Machinations. We're not going to say that word because I don't think that's how I say it. At the moment, using Elusive Footwork, Blackout Strike deals an additional 438 damage. Blackout Strike critical hits Gant an additional 1 stack of Elusive Brawler. This is really good. However, I've got it on every single item. So it's my best in slot trait, that and Boiling in Brew, which is my Breath of Fire one. Again, like I said, it's my best in slot trait. It's good. We want it. We don't want 3 of it. For single target, it's actually amazing. I do a lot of single target damage now, especially if I swap into Blackout combo. I do that into Tiger Palm and just bounce between them. I do a ridiculous amount of damage. But again, it's just not ideal for tankiness, which is not a shame. Again, so on this one, we've got Open Palm Strikes if I do want to go Windwalker, which is actually not a bad trait. It's not the worst thing in the world. And Tidal Surge, which is a very good single target DPS one. So if I did want to swap, I have got good traits here. And then I've got the Shimmering Heaven as well, which is really, really nice for Brewmaster. And then Gem Hide. Or Strength of Spirit. Both, honestly, very, very good talents. So we have got a good variety on this helmet. We then go to Shoulders, and we have, again, Elusive Footwork. We then go and we have Meridian Strikes, which is my, again, best in slot for Windwalker. Does a lot of burst, and obviously reduces the cooldown by quite a lot. And has some decent, that's a decent Mistweaver trait. A pretty weak passive, but also might be better than having 3 stacks of Elusive Footwork. So maybe that's something we'll look at. Obviously, Mastery does reduce a lot of the damage we take with just dodging stuff, basically. And then we have Bracing Chill, which does work off Expel Harm as well as Vivify, so something that maybe can work. And Ablative Shielding, which again we saw on the goggles before. Falling below 40% health grants you just a load of armor. and taking more reduces the armor. So a bit weak, but it's not the worst one. It's not the best one. And then in terms of that, Longstrider is pretty terrible, honestly, especially on a Brewmaster who's so mobile anyway. So we'd probably go Vampiric Speed. We then have a 3/4/5 Draper the Loyal Vassal. Haste Mastery. It's a shame I don't have that on my DK, but again, it's a nice cape. For Brewmaster, my stat priority is Versatility, Mastery equals Crit, and then Haste. So again, Haste isn't my best stat. Mastery is kind of my second best stat, so it's a meh cape. And then I have Gore Splattered Vest. Again, has the same trait. Has really, really nice Windwalker trait. Has an okay raid healing Mistweaver trait. And has a really good single target trait. So if I really wanted to, I could just take generic traits and probably still do as good, honestly. We then look at the other traits. On My Way just gives me passive versatility equal to about a gem and a half. Which isn't a bad one. And then we have Azurite Veins, which is just way too strong for tanking. And Impassive Visage, which again is just way too strong. When you leg sweep, your targets suffer 50% reduced move speed. Well, I'm going to have Cake Smash them on them at all times, which reduces their move speed. And the speed doesn't really give me too much. So, going to be sticking with Impassive Visage, a really nice Brewmaster chest. This is one of our best in slot ones, because we do want that trait, we do want Azurite Veins, and we do then want Impassive Visage. So, it's actually a best in slot piece, which is nice. Then get to Blood Elder's Bindings, Crit Mastery. Again, 2 best stats, so I'm happy with these braces. Indestructible as well is obviously really nice. Heroic Titan Forge. This is a heroic piece. I actually did get a mythic one and traded it away because this gives me crit versatility with a gem, over 100 versatility and 80 crit. This is really, really well statted. So happy about that. Belt, Haste Mastery. Mastery being main stat, so I'm okay with it. It's not ideal, but it's the best we've got. Legs, I cannot get better legs. These are just so well statted. Again, we look at our gloves. This gives us almost 100 crit and almost 130 versatility, which is just insane. I've had a better legs drop, but they had no gem and bad stats, and it just wasn't worth taking. Bloodbog foot pads, which I believe is from a world quest actually. Crit Mastery, again, 2 best stats, or 2 second best stats. All good with me. Rings, Versatility Mastery. Oh baby, this is amazing. This is a really, really good ring. And then again, we have Versatility Mastery. Mastery being main stat this time. So again, they're really well started, our rings. And rings obviously give so much off stats that they are very, very important. Darkmoon card. Darkmoon deck blockades. Again, we bought this one when it was cheap. We actually made a couple of the cards for this as well. We bought the cards rather than the deck on this one. I believe it still cost me about 100k. But very, very worth it now. It does heal quite a lot. Obviously, I can't really show you because my last one was as Mistweaver. And then First Mate Spyglass. Terrible trinket that I do not want, but unfortunately I cannot get better than. It does give me some DPS increases on single target, give me good burst, and obviously does increase my healing taken, so I can use it as a defensive, but it's just not ideal. And then we have Honor Bound Pig Sticker, which they may have actually upgraded. They have, wow. That must have literally just happened then, in the last couple of hours. So it gives now 162.5 damage per second. Obviously, it didn't before, which means that for some reason... Okay, Pawn's having a weird day. So 162.5 DPS, actually our big increase now, which means I can use it, thank God. Gives us more agility, more stamina, obviously. Crit Mastery, 2 best stats, 2 second best stats anyway, versus Haste Mastery. So just a huge upgrade from my old one. Which leaves us at 338 for the week, looking at our reputations. Champions of Azeroth, we're halfway through without the hand in yet, so we are going to get pretty close to Honoured with that. Talajani's Expedition, we are halfway through Honoured. Honour Bound, we're just getting into Honoured and started doing the quest now. Tortellone Seekers, again, we haven't handed in that emissary yet. We're going to be doing that tonight just before I go to bed. Voldunai and Zandalari Empire, both about a third of the way through Honoured. So we are getting there, and obviously my Heart of Azeroth, 323 eye level with level 15. So obviously tomorrow the 30% increase comes in, which is going to make a big difference for us. In terms of my profs, I didn't really show my professions off. I'm 130 in alchemy at the moment. My goal is to get to 115 so I can craft the next tier of flasks. It does make a really, really big difference actually when you're crafting those. They're quite important to go and aim for. But yeah, so overall this week, I've been rattling on for 15 minutes, wow. But yeah, overall this week, I'm happy with where I am. I know there are people better off than me. I know a lot of people have bought... BOEs and things like that. Obviously, I've bought the Dark Moon deck, but I haven't really bought any other BOEs. So, again, just taking it as it is. I'm pretty happy with the way we've been left off. And, yeah, hopefully we're going to be doing some... Well, we will be doing Mythics tomorrow on stream. That's one more thing I actually wanted to catch you guys up on. I've been streaming pretty much every day. I've missed a couple of days just because I had to go away, unfortunately. But we're going to be streaming every day, as many days as we can. We hit another achievement today on my Twitch for streaming for X amount of hours over my lifetime. Our channel's growing to having like 30 plus average viewers. It's awesome. Everything's growing. It's being really well. So guys, I encourage you to come down to the stream. We do a lot of stuff. We'll try and get viewers in if we can and all that good stuff. So, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Hope you guys have had a good week as well. Obviously, 1 week into BFA. Let's see what the next week brings us. So guys, thank you for watching. Good luck with the world bosses tomorrow. Don't forget that they are spawning. And thanks for watching. Catch you later. Goodbye.